let's go back to more of Lord Obama and his cybersecurity coordination plan. And then we're going to go to your calls. We're going to go to Jeremy, Bruce, Jory, and more after this. Hit it up.
Advantage is a key to America's military dominance. But our defense and military networks are under constant attack. Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups have spoken of their desire to unleash a cyber attack on our country. Attacks that are harder to detect and harder to defend against. Indeed, in today's world, acts of terror could come not only from a few extremists in suicide vests, but from a few keystrokes on the computer, a weapon of mass disruption. In one of the most serious cyber incidents to date against our military networks, several thousand computers were infected last year by malicious software malware. And while no sensitive information was compromised, our troops and defense personnel had to give up those external memory devices, thumb drives, changing the way they used their computers every day.
All right, let's stop for a second. Let's see what he encompasses there. He encompasses Al-Qaeda, weapons of mass destruction with the internet. Oh, we have to, take away thumb drives. I mean, give me a break. Just outrageous Johnny nonsense from Barack Obama, but he makes it seem so credible. Ooh, Al-Qaeda is going to get you on the internet, or Al-Qaeda like terrorists. The hackers are everywhere. They have weapons of mass destructions on the internet. Oh, no. All right, hit it, Hartman.
And last year we had a glimpse of the future face of war. As Russian tanks rolled into Georgia, cyber attacks crippled Georgian government websites. The terrorists that sowed so much death and destruction in Mumbai relied not only on guns and grenades, but also on GPS and phones using voice over the internet. For all these reasons, it's now clear this cyber threat is one of the most serious economic and national security challenges we face as a nation.
Stop right there.
It's also clear that...
So let's go over those two lies. I mean, how much does this guy just have to really play off? First of all, Russia's tanks rolled into Georgia. Let's go over it again, folks. Georgia's running drills on the border of South Ossetia, a disputed region along Russia's border on the other side. They then sneak attack South Ossetia with American special forces and Israeli special forces, Blackwater, all this. Russia then comes in to stop the situation, and they're the bad guy, and he brings it up over a year later. It's mainstream news. Just look into it. And then he talks about the attacks in Mumbai. Those cell phones were tracked back to U.S. and UK intelligence. You can't make this stuff up. Hit the clip.
That we're not as prepared as we should be, as a government or as a country. In recent years, some progress has been made at the federal level. But just as we failed in the past to invest in our physical infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, and rails, we failed to invest in the security of our digital infrastructure. No single official oversees cybersecurity policy across the federal government. No single agency has the responsibility or authority to match the scope and scale of the challenge. Indeed, when it comes to cybersecurity, federal agencies have overlapping missions and don't coordinate and communicate nearly as well as they should, with each other or with the private sector. We saw this in the disorganized response to Conficker, the internet worm that in recent months has infected millions of computers around the world. This status quo is no longer acceptable, not when there's so much at stake. We can and we must do better. And that's why, shortly after taking office, I directed my National Security Council and Homeland Security Council to conduct a top-to-bottom review of the federal government's efforts to defend our information and communications infrastructure and to recommend the best way to ensure that these networks are able to secure our networks as well as our networks.
You stammered there, Obama. Weren't great at actually reading the prompter at that point. But remember, this is all time. They've primed you up first with the lesser-known Cybersecurity Act and Jay Rockefeller. They didn't hype up the fact that, he says the internet really has to die. That was the primer. Then, all of a sudden, they have the Cyberbullying Act. Oh, somebody died because of cyberbullying by an adult on MySpace. We really need to regulate this immediately. So they put that into play. No one's talking about it in the mainstream media whatsoever until Hannah Montana comes forth Oh, Hannah Montana. It's like, let's sing a song about the #1 movie in America and the #1 TV show on the Disney Network and really one of the biggest cable phenomenons in the last 5 to 10 years. You can't go into a Target, into a Walmart, into a shopping center without seeing this little girl's face everywhere. And she's, oh, someone called me fat, but I can't even spell out fat. I put a star where the A is. We should ban free speech on the internet. Jeremy in Indiana, you are on the air, sir. What's poppin'?
Hey, hello, Jason.
How you doing?
It's an honor to speak to a thought criminal of your stature.
Thank you, sir.
I just had a quick point to make on the structure on the city level on how these guys operate. I used to be one of these people, actually. I still am genetically. I have some Collins blood running through my veins, but that's neither here nor there. I work for PsyOps domestically, and I can't really say much about that, but one thing I can say is on every city, the inner circle within that local lodge is a council that actually controls the direction and policies of that city, and then they all interlink up to form a bigger pyramidal structure.
And they use the CIA for that. That's why the CIA visits Jesse Ventura when he becomes the government. That's part of it. And, of course, they have, people on the city council and board. Can you talk about at all, I mean, if you worked in PsyOps, how is it interrelated with the media? People still think that the media is fair and just. I mean, give me a break.
Oh, my God. We had so many agents infiltrated into the media networks. It's pitiful. I mean, George Orwell didn't have crap on these guys. It's almost pathetic, really. I mean, by my estimates, at least 40% of everybody working in the media networks was an agent of the either CIA, National Reconnaissance Office, Department of Defense, but we all was in the PsyOps program working against the people. That's where the 2/3 of military budget is going. It goes towards us.
And how long has it been since you've been in the military doing this sort of thing?
Oh, I quit 10 years ago.
It was just too unbearable at that point?
Yeah, at first it was like we was working, we was doing the common good. I mean, yeah, propagandized slaves, killing people. But then it just got to a point where you couldn't deny what these guys were doing. Once you put it all together, I got pretty high up there in my rank. And once you put it all together, then it just blew you away. The depravity of the evil that these guys go through, you can't make it up. I mean, it doesn't surprise me anymore, even though you hear something new, more evil that they do every day.
No, you can't make up, South American death squads. You can't make up white child slavery rings. You can't make up that the drugs are run by the government. You can't make up the privatized prison system. You can't make up the new Satan grid, smart grid. I thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Bruce in Toronto. You're on the air. Yes, Bruce. And hey, Bruce dropped. Hey, what's up, Bruce?
No, I'm here. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, do you know who the moderator was between Bush and Clinton there tonight in Toronto?
Wasn't it Harper?
No, actually it was Frank McKenna.
Mr. Bilderberg himself. We should pull up that clip. Let's pull up that Frank McKenna clip. Maybe we'll play it in the third hour, that Bilderberg clip from yesterday. You should be able to get in there. Anything else you got for me, Bruce?
Yeah, actually I got this huge report called North America Next. And I've attacked it with a highlighter, and I just wanted to read some of the key stuff that's in it. This was one of the reading documents that they were supposed to be using this week at the Model North American Parliament that was held in Mexico. But, of course, they canceled that because of the swine flu things. And this report is entitled North America Next, and it's serious stuff. Let me just dive into this.
Let me guess,
here.
This is a basic outline for the North American Union and the policies that are going to have to be set up and the new international law that we're all going to have to abide by.
It's unbelievable. Let me just read a few quotes from it here. On page 13, it says that we need to continue to move the internal borders away from the borders to the farm and factory by increasing investment in technology and streamlined processes to ease border flows. When we turn the page here, it's got nice little diagrams of a border community between our two countries here. And it says that figure C shows how in remote challenging terrain, such as terrain with steep hillsides, riparian habitat, security infrastructure such as satellite telemetry, unmanned aerial surveys, balloon lofted radar, and standoff sensors can monitor activities and movements. And of course, on Monday, when Napolitano came to Canada, she basically announced that they will be using Predator drones to patrol our border all the way, the entire waterways.
You need to